In this demonstration, we're going to take a look at what it means to actually freeze an object in JavaScript. So I'm going to create an object here called widget, and we're going to give widget a couple of different properties here. So the first property we'll give it is color. We'll make it blue. Then we'll give it a property called size and make it large. Then we'll give it another property called quantity, and we'll set it equal to 3. So here we have our widget object. Now to kind of help us out with this demonstration, we're going to create a function called displayInfo. DisplayInfo is going to take two parameters. One is the object itself, followed by the property name. And simply we're just going to output to the console log the actual property descriptor information for a given property on the object. So we'll do object.getOwn property descriptor, just like that. And then we're going to pass in the object, and then we're going to say property name. And this will actually return out to us the property descriptor. So if we were to say display info widget color, the output of this is going to look like this. We can reload this, and we actually get color as undefined because we actually have to pass in the string for this to work properly. And then we'll reload this, and we'll see that we get this object configurable is true, enumerable true, value is blue, and writable is true. Okay? And if we were to output this for all of the properties that we have to find, we could come in here and say size. We could also do quantity, just like that. And if we reload this, you'll see that we have all of our properties. Now, there is a function called freeze off of the object, and we can actually pass in our widget, and this is going to change some of the property descriptors for our object. So we're actually going to copy this, move this down here, and we will say console.log before freeze, and then we'll do console.log after freeze. And we'll simply reload this in our web browser, and we'll take a look and see what happens. So we see here before the freeze, we have true set to configurable and writable is set to true as well. But down here after our freeze, we actually see that we have configurable set to false and writable is set to false. Now it's still enumerable and it still has a value, but after freezing an object, the properties on it are no longer configurable and they're no longer writable, basically making them read-only. So freezing an object basically prevents us from making any additional changes to it. So if we try to come in here and actually modify one of these properties, let's say widget.color is equal to black, and then I try to reload this in the web browser, we'll see that we'll actually get an error saying that color is now read-only. So freezing it will actually cause us to get errors if we do try to actually change any of the configuration or the value of it, that kind of thing. One additional thing that we want to take a look at is that I also can't add any additional properties to the object. So if I wanted to say widget.length and I wanted to give it a length of, let's say, 12, and I save that and I come back to my web browser and I reload the page, it also comes back and tells me that the object is not extensible. So I can't add any new properties to a frozen object either. So basically it freezes the object from all additional changes to it. And this, by the way, this is also not reversible. You cannot unfreeze an object. Once it's frozen, it's frozen. Finally, there is an actual isFrozen method that we can use. So I can say if not object.isFrozen, and then I can pass in the object, so in this case widget. And if it's not frozen, then it will create a length property on the object and set it equal to 12. But since it is frozen, it won't do that. But you'll also notice we don't get the error anymore either, because it's actually checking to see whether or not it's frozen before it adds the property to it.